Happy
Yeah.
New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Yeah. So I just thought it might be a good idea, because I was thinking, if I was scrolling through classes and I saw the PowerPoint deep tissue, like that might be one thing, but then it was like calcium deposits, PowerPoint deep tissue, like well, what, you know, of course the description is right there for people to read, but
Right.
when people skim through, maybe they're not reading the description and they're missing out. So since it's right around the corner, I figure maybe you can just explain a little bit about what the class is, what they're gonna learn, and then I'll share
So
it.
I technically poured everything that I know in this class. I've been on the field since 2005 and graduated in Florida. So it was in CBTMB um, test that we were taking originally. And you probably notice my accent. I'm not American born. So when I saw the book that I had to study, and I was only 4 years in the country, I almost had a heart attack. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not going to be able to translate everything. You know what I'm saying? So I went a different direction. I ate that book probably 8 times or so from cover to cover. And I think I've noticed or remember more than most American people would, you know what I'm saying?
You
So,
really had to read each word, right?
yes, and I had to understand what is actually happening. I was the only person from my class to pass the test from the first time, which was kind of an accomplishment for me.
Yeah. Woo.
So, the calcium deposits, I was aware of them pretty much from the get-go. As soon as I started to work, um, maybe within about like year and a half.
By
I
the way,
was kind of
just
aware of them. In the beginning, was trying to understand, though I remembered something from the book, that original massage book that we studied by, about, you probably remember cortisol is a hormone.
Cortisol?
So yes, it did present that it kind of helps create type of hypercalcemia in the body by creating osteoblast. So the bone cannot reabsorb it back. You know what I'm saying? So it
Mhm.
goes pretty much everywhere. So, but we do have stress zone. Everybody knows it who experience stress. So I kind of knew, and from the get-go, I was explaining it to my clients because I was working it, and they were like, "What is it?" And I was explaining it to them. This is what it is. And then I had this experience where I had a client for about 3 years in Florida at the time. She she was coming to me for a deep tissue, and one day she brought her husband, and he never had a massage before, and she wanted me to actually do a deep tissue on him. And I asked him what's the goal, and he said that he had suffered with a range of motion was non-existent. He was in his late 70s at the time, and he wanted to swim. He just retired from his big business. And I want to swim, but I can't. And he had went through physical therapy, and they were already communicating him about it possibly needed to be a surgery because there was like really bad range of motion. So I worked him, and after a 50-minute deep tissue, full body, he had full range of motion, started swimming. I also have good record on frozen shoulders. So that's about the calcium part. There is more details to it. I'm actually getting involved I have a meeting actually with physical therapists because they actually work with the diagnosis. And I have consulted with surgeons who work with the problem, actually operating on the people with that issue. And I had 3 of them that I consulted with. They thought it was amazing idea and navigated me towards certain things. Like I want to do case studies, like pictures before and after just the one treatment. You know what I'm saying? To see the difference, which would be really amazing. Anyway, that's about the calcium deposit. PowerPoint deep tissue. Technically, it's my technique. I prefer deep tissues. I rest on them. I'm probably one of the deepest deep tissuers you can possibly find. And I see a lot of times that people put so much energy into it and a lot of hand, bodies, and our tools that we're using all the time. And I thought that technically it's kind of like the technique that I use is also used for dissolving calcium deposits. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of linked together. So I meditate on my deep tissues. Seriously, like I don't even have to think about it. And I just want to share what I know. And the things like there's also, I go into the details to give people kind of a tools, you know what I'm saying? Like how to release neck, like the base of the neck. Not a lot of people work on it. So I teach how to get there safely and comfortably for both. And also not for everybody, like on the table, I do ask students, do you want your subscap being worked? You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's sensitive, usually, especially when there is a problem. And a lot of times we don't even realize, but it can affect not only at the shoulder. Like my issue sometimes goes into my elbow. And I'm thinking, besides the calcium and certain problems, subscap can affect so many things. Mine is going right into my elbow. I never played tennis in my life, so there is no tennis elbow. So when I taught my first class, I actually asked the girls to practice on me, you know, on my calcium and my subscaps. And this whole thing went away right away. Like I got my extension, the inflammation was gone, the whole 9 yards, which I think is pretty amazing. So the class is over, I would say about 80% hands-on. I don't do projection of any kind of material. Everything is about feeling it and practice. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. See you next week.
All right, we'll see you then.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, Tim.